Something I've really been thinking about lately, dating as a single mom in her 30s, is how much my perspective has changed on what I am looking for in a future partner. And the biggest one is I am looking for a father for my son. I am 100%. But I remember back in the day, I remember even saying and telling potential suitors, I'm not looking for a father for my son. I'm not looking for a father for my son. But now I'm like, that was the dumbest ever. Why would I have ever said that? Because number one, my son and I are a package deal. You do not get access to me without taking him into account as well. You know what I mean? And he needs a father figure. He does. And I want to be partnered with someone that my son can look up to, someone that he can emulate. I want to be partnered with someone that my son can look at and be like, that's the type of man, father, and partner I want to be. Now, I know that this doesn't apply to everyone because a lot of people do have children who have active dads in their lives. That is not the case for me. And thankfully, I am super grateful that my son does not have his dad in his life. I know that sounds harsh because it's painful for him, right? No one wants that. And like in a perfect world, that's not how it would be. But my son's father is not a good person. So I would have hated if he were actively in his life behaving the way he chooses to, because I would hate if any of those characteristics rubbed off on my kid. All that being said, I am looking for a father for my son. You don't get off the hook. You don't get access to me without being ready to step up. You just don't. You don't. If being straightforward like that means someone doesn't want to be with you, then that person is not for you. You know what I mean? Like,
Okay, we got it. One of the major problems, big problems that I see in the United States, and again, I come from a divorced family. My parents had 4 kids. When they divorced, I was in my teens with 3 younger siblings, and then eventually, my dad took 2 kids, and I stayed with my mom and one other sister. So they split it in half. But everybody contributed, and it was not the case. Far from it, from deadbeat dad. Didn't have that at all. So we were all very involved. Everyone knew what was going on that was appropriate for their age. All right. For those who can't look at this, who are not looking at the screen, she has a big old tattoo from her neck down to, I guess, her collarbone all the way down her chest. So again, tattoo yourself away if you wish. I have one tattoo on the side of my arm here. That's it. Tattoo yourself away. But I'm sure if there was a personality test or something, there's probably a certain personality of people who have tattoos that prominently displayed. Now, this is not a hate on mom rant, but she is the one who, this is not a hate on single moms. Okay. Like I just said, okay. My mom was a single mom for part of the time. But again, she had lots of help and all that. This was not her struggling and being by herself and all of that. So, but I'm going to suspect that in this particular single mom's case, and she's the one that I'm talking about. Okay. I'm not generalizing this to all, but in this particular case, she has spent all of her life thinking about herself. And I'm going to point to her tattoos as part of it. Again, not hating on tattoos. This woman has spent her entire life all about me, 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 me. Okay, physical pleasures, me, tattoos, me, whatever it is that I want to do. She says some things here that I think she sees it as a flex, but I do not. Quote, you don't get access to me unless you accept my child. Well, no, duh. Okay, like access to her is, again, not exactly the flex that she may think it is. She says she's in her 30s. She says her perspective has changed on what she wants for a husband slash father figure. No duh. Which is why we don't have children, preferably without the benefit of marriage, even if a divorce occurs, okay? Even if a divorce occurs, you at least, you attempted to do it the right way. All right. So in this case, she says her perspective has changed. And I say no duh, because your perspective naturally changes as you get older, which is why you really shouldn't have a kid while you are still in the stages of thinking about herself. Trust me, this woman has spent her life thinking about herself. She says that she's so glad that her son does not have a father around because the woman, because the man that she chose to procreate with, and I'm putting that really nicely, okay, in appropriate terms, the man that she chose to procreate with is so horrible and awful of a father. She's glad that her son has been denied his presence. How is it that every one of these women that like to come on TikTok and complain about their, what is it, the father of their children, how is it all these fathers are just toxic, horrible, mean, yet a bunch of you single moms that have never yet been married, and some of you guys treat children like they're little dolls. Okay, we got to admit it, some of you do, because it's about them. How is it that all these guys that you fell in bed with just turned out to be horrible, toxic, rotten men? Every single one of them. It almost makes me think that you used the guy more than he used you. That you used the guy perhaps because you were looking for someone to love you. You were looking for a child to love you. You were looking to fill in the gaps. And we've heard this. Oh, I was looking for someone to love and, respect me. That I couldn't get the love from my family or my parents or anybody else. So I'm looking for a child. And you thought he was the perfect victim. I almost would. And I'm not going in a real shallow pool here. I think more of these single moms, again, the ones that have children without the benefit of marriage. Yeah, I may sound a little religious there, and I'm not a religious fanatic. Trust me. Okay. But we're talking about TikTok mommies, the women that come on complaining that they are single moms, complaining that there are no decent men in their life to raise their kids. You just can't convince me that all of you women that come on TikTok complaining about the men, that these were all just horrible, awful men. Now, I can assume that some of them probably weren't that great, depending upon how the mom comes across too. I'll go, okay, I'm beginning to think that there's probably a problem there, but the bottom line is you chose to do it. So this woman who has thought about herself her entire life finally decides in her 30s something to go, you know what? Now is the time to start looking for the right man for the child I already procreated with another guy. Now is the time to start searching. Shouldn't you have been searching for that before you got together and procreated? That is why marriage is always good first. Again, I'm not saying if you have a child without the benefit of marriage, shame. That is not what I'm saying. What I am saying is if you're going to do that, then it's pretty rich to come onto TikTok and complain that the guy you procreated with, that you never had a relationship with, that you never had the benefit of marriage with, it's pretty rich to then complain that he is not decent. That's what I'm talking about. Just to make sure we're really clear on that. So now she's looking for the right guy. Now she is finally ready. And that loser of a man that she thought was so great to procreate with, that they produced a child on, she's gone onto social media. So forever it will be etched in the world of internet that, hey, your mother thinks your dad is a loser, and your mother thinks it's so great that he's not around. And now she's looking for another guy to open up his wallet and take on the lead. You know what I think oftentimes happens? I think a lot of these women just get tired of financing the kid themselves. It's expensive. It's physically exhausting, emotionally exhausting, mentally exhausting, and they simply get tired of it. And now when they're tired of it, they think that they are the prize, that some guy's going to come along and say, yes, you are the woman that I want. I will take care of you and your children, and you better take care of them to the satisfaction that she has laid out. I don't know why single men would want to find themselves in this situation. I don't understand it. I'm not going to even try, but come on, guys, you can do better than this woman. You can do a lot better.
You're not gonna start dating them under false pretenses that, like, you're not looking for a father for your kid when you really are, and you're just hoping that they'll be that person. No, let them know from jump. Otherwise, it's just a waste of everybody's time.
Because she's jumped on all the other men and now she's ready for something serious.
If you are not my husband, you are in his way.
I'm so exhausted that I would rather die than have to wake up and do another day again. I actually don't have the energy to do anything. I've been sitting in my car for about 10 minutes. I got home from work. I woke up late today. They were super nice about it. And I realized on my way home that I don't care. I don't care about anything anymore. I don't have goals. I don't have passion. I'm not excited to do anything. And I realized that I feel so anxious and feel like My chest is so heavy all the time. And I would rather not feel like that at all. I would rather not have to do any of this. What's the point? I work 2 jobs. I work 6 days a week. I have 1 day off a week. And I work my life away. For what? A shitty apartment and a car that costs more money than it's worth? For what? What am I living for? I'm not living for anything. I grew up in a religious household you just need Jesus in your life. No, I don't, because my life wasn't better with him in it. That's not the solution. There is no solution. I'm genuinely realizing that, from the time that we're little, we're lied to. You can be anybody. You can do anything you want to do. But that's not true. You can't be anybody. You can't do anything you want to do. There are rules that we have to follow. There are limits to the sky. And I realized that I hit my limit. I hit my limit and I'm done.
Play victim much? Play victim. All right. Let's take a look at the camera angle. I'm going to be real nice here. Okay. There are some camera angles that should be avoided. This is probably one of them. Now, for those who cannot see the screen, and we're going to take this as tactfully as I know how. She appears to be very heavy. She has, of course, the classic bull nose ring, whatever going on. Okay. So you're sitting in your car, morbidly obese from what I can tell. You got the nose ring thing going on, talking about how life has no purpose or meaning. But see, here's the thing. It's not other people's jobs to give your life purpose and meaning. It's your job to give yourself life purpose and meaning. And if you're going to sit in the car and you're going to insist that, I don't understand why I'm working so hard. I don't understand why I'm doing this. And you wake up every day and you have that attitude, then that's the attitude that's going to remain with you for the rest of your life. There are people who I am absolutely convinced are determined to be as miserable as they possibly can. I'm not saying I don't have my down days, sad days, all of that stuff. Of course, we all do. We're human. But I try really, really hard to the best of my ability. Some days are better than others. I think and I've shared with you guys, I do have to deal with depression, and I've been off of depression medication for over 20 years, and I'm very proud of that. But if I found I had to go back on it, I would have no shame or problem in doing it. But there are some people who I am convinced are just absolutely determined to wake up every day, find everything that is wrong. And instead of figuring out, can you do a hobby? Can you, what can you create in your life that is going to help you focus on something other than just work? Yes, other than just simply your main job. What else can you do? Where are your creativities? Where are your talents? No, she would rather sit there in the car, morbidly obese, with her nose ring, complaining about how life has no purpose or meaning. Who does she expect to give her that purpose and meaning? What is she expecting? It's kind of like, you keep hitting your head against the same spot on the wall. You're doing it over and over again. What did she think was going to change? If she thinks that something magical is going to happen one day, she's going to wake up and all of a sudden, all of her problems are going to be better. She's kidding herself. I do not feel sorry for people who sit there and all they can do is beach, moan, and groan about everything in their life that doesn't seem to be working. But there's a big problem that she has. She's not willing to work. See, she doesn't want to work. And you can tell part is because, well, again, her physique. Okay. She doesn't want to work on herself physically. She doesn't want to work on herself emotionally or mentally, but she has no problem hooking up a camera and working really hard to tell you how miserable her life is. This is her problem. It's not our problem.
And I don't care anymore.
Let me show you. Come outside.
All right. This is a guy at a gas station. Okay. The gas station owner is filming this, and I guess there's a customer, and the customer wants him to come outside and look at the gas pump.
What do you mean come? No, I can't, bro. I'm at work.
No, come outside.
I'm at work. I can't.
I just put 20 on pump 2 and I only pumped $14. So I need my change.
You need
pump the whole 20.
On pump 4, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Pump 2.
you paid with card, right?
Yeah.
It automatically goes back to your card. It automatically goes back to your card.
Nah. How long is that gonna take?
24 or 48 hours. Depends on you.
See, that's one thing we're not gonna do. I'm not gonna wait all that. So listen, me personally, I feel like you're gonna give me that right now.
I can't give you the bag. I can't give you the cash. It will go back because you paid with card.
I'm not waiting 24 to 48 hours.
I can't.
I need it now. You're gonna have to find a way, fam.
You pay with card, it will go back to your card.
Hey,
If
look,
you
come
pay,
here, come here. Let me show you. Come outside.
what do you mean come? No, I can't. I'm at work.
Nah, I don't care if you at work. Come outside.
I can't.
My change.
All right. I can't go. I can't. It will go back to your card.